All right, Coy, Pat, how you guys doing today? Pat, what's up?
Nothing much, just trying to relax, enjoy some soccer, both lower league and international. Just waiting for the World Cup at this point.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not this summer. I've been so used to World Cup being in the summer that like I,
I
I
hate
feel
it.
like, oh, it's right around the corner, and it's not. And everyone's talking about it like it's just coming up still. And like I'm gonna be, now that US is in it, especially, I'm even more excited about it. So yeah, no, that's definitely something that's been weird recently, talking to people and seeing their reactions. And some people who aren't soccer fans don't even know it's this summer, or don't even know it's not in the summer. They think it's coming up. And I'm like, no, you still got some time. Cool. How about you? What you been up to?
Uh, Trying to get my grind on with starting my new job. I just started on Monday. I've had a pretty busy week from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, today, and think I'll get a day off on Friday. But I'm right back to it on Saturday. I'll be at the the big celebration you guys are having on Saturday with is it the ASA?
Yep. Yep.
Yep,
Yes.
yep. I'm going to be helping out, and then I got to come back and work from 6 at night to 7 in the morning
Nice.
on Saturday night, and then I'm going to play soccer in Ocean City, sand soccer, right after my I get off at 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning, and
So when are you gonna
work
sleep
that
in all
night.
this? Are you gonna sleep? So you're gonna go to ASA day, come home. You should probably sleep then.
Yeah,
And then get a
I'll,
good night's
I'll,
sleep
I'll
on
yeah,
Friday night.
I'll sleep then, and then come right back to it, and then Sunday morning go to sand soccer, and then get done with that and go right back into work.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
It's
please make sure to schedule some sleep time. You're gonna end up like a lot of these college students that are up all night, up all day, and then crash. My high school
yeah,
kids too.
it's all in the process, like I mean, trying to balance life and work and playing soccer, and it all comes with what it comes for. You want to put in the time and effort that you can, you know, and what you feel fit to be important to you, you make time for.
Yeah. I mean, while you're still younger too, because I know my energy decreases by year. Like I get more and more of this every year. More and more. I used to never drink coffee. And now, 3 kids later, and dealing with all different areas of life. I need something to keep me going. But yeah, make sure to schedule some sleep in there. That'd be pretty important.
I will do. I will find time to nap, but
Well, good.
that's just
Well,
how it goes.
first, you mentioned ASA Day and just a forecast of what's coming up here. We have ASA Day this Saturday, and it's kind of cool where ASA, Arundel Soccer Association, is a local youth soccer club that we have a decent relationship with. We don't have our own youth soccer teams, so we try to be able to be as active in the community and kids soccer as possible, and having clinics here and there, or summer camps, or even just being around different events. And with ASA, Gavin is the rec coordinator now over at ASA. And a couple years ago, um, Mike Kinn, who's around sometimes at King's Futsal, Mike Kinn has worked for ASA for a while, and he has invited us out in the past to be a part of ASA Day. And the way it works is all the rec teams are all there playing their youth games. And one day a year, they call it ASA Day, and they get sometimes they get food trucks, sometimes they get fun games for kids to play. And we went up there a couple of years ago and just went up to a basketball court that was attached to the field. And we ended up setting up just a bunch of players that were there. We set up goals, and we're just playing against the little kids that were there, and giving out some free merch and hanging out with the kids. And it was just overall just a fun time. Kids stopped by, and we gave out some free tickets. We'll be out there this weekend as well. It's supposed to be, I hope the weather ends up holding out and being okay. It's supposed to be a little rainy, but we'll be there. We'll bring some guys up there and enjoy time with the kids. Originally, when we started the Kings, I thought our main target audience was going to be like socials, like 18 to 34-year-olds that are just always around, want to be in social events. But we've ended up identifying that most of the people that come to our games are the kids, and want to be around them. And we want to be able to identify even decent players that are in their teens that want to come play for us one day. And, people that ended that one day, previously in the past, came to our games to watch as little kids are now playing for us. So, seeing that progression now that we've been around for, 6-7 years, someone that was, 12 years old coming out to our game is now 19. So that's kind of a cool progression that we want to be able to give back in the local community. So we got that coming up. ASA Day on Saturday. We'll train on Monday night. And then we have our second event of the summer at Benfield on Saturday, June, is that the 18th? June 7th. Yeah, 18th, I think. 10th, 11th.
Yes, 18th.
Next Saturday.
So, we're finalizing all the details behind that, all the rosters, and we'll get all that out. But I think first, last week, Coy, we talked and just recap the event a little bit from your perspective, a little bit about you as a player. Joining us today, Pat's been around just a little bit longer, and Pat was a part of that journey that me and you were talking about, Coy, of a player that came in and wasn't originally like with the Kings group for years, and
Right.
was someone that consistently, he was around, and he was someone that was obviously a good player, but wanted to be able to see him and make sure that as players come and go, Pat's been one of our most consistent players and someone that's dedicated a lot of time and effort. And just even when you see him play, the passion behind it and wanting to be a part of this and believing in it. So it's cool having him around. But Pat recently has been going through some of the statistics through League One futsal, and just there's some interesting things that always get relayed back to me, whether through him or through Gavin, or even just that I noticed from watching the film. Interesting thing to me was in the very first game that the Kings team played, I was just, watching the team I played for. We scored off of a corner. We scored off a free kick. We scored off a kick in from the side. And we scored off.
Kickoff.
What's that? And off kickoff.
We scored off a kickoff.
Yeah, all possible restarts besides a PK, right? So, I thought that was interesting. Just a lot of the goals were coming off of restarts or players losing the ball in silly situations that we were able to counter on. So, patterns like that I like to see. And that's why, as I mentioned, the theme in practice on Saturday of last week was being able to create more opportunities off set pieces for obvious reasons. And then another on Monday, we talked about how to break down the defense when they're behind the ball, when they're set up in their diamond, their box, different patterns that we use to break down the defense. So, I know, Pat, you've been going through some of the stats. Have you noticed anything interesting that's kind of popped out that might be worth noting?
So to start off with, Alex Stewart's the top goal scorer with 7 goals. And even if you take away his penalty kicks, he still is the top goal scorer.
He scored 2 penalties?
He scored 2 penalties. So take what you will from that. Penalty kick merchant.
How many goals? So 7
the
goals.
assist
7
leader
goals
right now.
overall?
Yep.
Alex scored 7. Okay.
But the assist leader actually surprised me a little bit. It was Mike Gesselhart.
Really?
He has 5 assists, and that was slightly surprising. It makes sense that he plays.
I have to disagree. Mike is a very good player when he wants to play.
I'm not saying he's not a good player.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's not, because he absolutely is. But he's that type of person who's there, but you don't really pay attention to him, but he still shows up.
But the interesting thing about Mike as well, since we're on that topic, he's probably also the most unluckiest player at the event. He hit the woodwork or the post crossbar.
Many times.
Hit 3 times.
Oh wow!
Right.
Most of any player.
Yeah, he had a goal off a volley from you guys. A volley caught right back to himself, and then he finally got it in. But yeah, I can tell. Yeah, I remember him doing that a lot.
But probably the most interesting one for me that I found so far is that I decided to look at shot conversion rates. So looking at how many times people shoot, and then looking at how many times they score and trying to figure out what their conversion rate is. And looking at all the players who shot at least 8 shots, because there are a couple players who scored 1 and took 3. It's not really the greatest average. There's 2 people tied for the best conversion rate. One is really surprising. The other, maybe not as surprising.
Let me guess. One's Carson.
Which one?
The new one.
Shamu. Yep. So both these guys have 25% conversion rate. So Carson has 8 shots, scored 2 goals. But the other one, I don't think you're going to get. I really don't think either of you will get.
Was it someone from Annapolis?
Nope. Although there's an interesting one for that one.
Why?
You guys know him.
Tall.
Who?
What's his name?
Yeah.
He plays a.
Well, first, is he
Axel.
on?
Axel.
Okay.
Axel.
Nope.
No.
So Pat, is he on Coy's team on the Pittsburgh team?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Musteba.
It's Musteba.
Yep, that's who I thought. That's what I was thinking. Yes. So Coy's been going right. And just to kind of offer my input originally on Mike, Mike's someone that he likes finding. He's creative and tries the split ball often and tries to find different options, and it works a lot. Sometimes he's stepped on the court and been like some of his goals he scored were really awesome. So that's not surprising, and I'm glad to hear that statistic. When it comes to conversion, Carson at Shamu, he's able to create for himself. For me, I don't really create a lot for myself as a player. Like I mentioned to Coy last week, I'm more of a role player. I might turn someone and take a shot, but if I'm facing him up, I'm not gonna beat him down the line and get a shot off. Typically, if I'm gonna beat someone, it'd be from turning with him on my back. But Carson's someone that can create for himself in the same way that Pat, I know that you do a lot, and Gavin and Ken and some other guys. So knowing that he's able to get a couple more shots off, it's not surprising that he was able to convert on more. Nice. No, that's good to hear. And also Musteba. Musteba is just someone. Musteba hit the post against us, smacked the post. He had some good opportunities against us as well.
Yeah, I'm just hearing that. I'm so proud of them.
There you
go. He was gonna be my second guest for
that. Pat, you're saying there was some interesting statistics about the Annapolis team too.
He is always a player.
Oh yes, the Annapolis team. One of their players only took 1 shot on target, or just had 1 shot the entire time. It was Timo Valles, I think, and he scores with that shot, which I think was. So in it says 100% conversion rate, and I had to double check that. I was just efficiency,
Right.
You can't. But also shout out to Tommy. Tommy had the most block shots out of every one of the events. He had, and it wasn't even close. I think he was on 13 block shots, maybe, including 2 from your very own. He also had two that took him into the face.
Ooh, yeah.
And one of them was also from me.
I feel like every single time Tommy plays, there's like, he'll like get smacked in the face by an elbow or like a shot between the legs or, something that like is just a freak moment. But I had seen Tommy. I've been watching and editing the Kings Fire game, and Tommy just laying his body out a few times to block some shots. So that's awesome to hear. That's pretty cool. And I always looked for
And
like
also we had our very first clean sheet.
very first clean sheet in League One futsal history.
Yep.
There you go.
Brian Gruder. Because I think he came close on a couple occasions where we let in one goal or two, but he finally got it, which, hey, little piece of history there. So
There you go. Do you know who the other leading goal scorers are besides Alex?
yeah, so if we look at goals, find it again. So we have Alex up top, and then at 4 goals, we also have Gavin. Gavin, in my opinion, also had a very good event. He's right now second, tied with also Musteba.
There you go.
That's awesome. I'm laughing because I'm like happy for him. Like
Me too. Absolutely.
when I'm not playing in the game on the same court as him, I haven't finished watching all the games yet. I'm going through and editing all of them and posting it, and then also been creating clips of all the goals. I don't know if you've seen, like, I've been creating clips of each individual goal and then maybe some of the saves and highlights outside of just the game highlights. So I've been going through the process of that, but no, that's good to hear. And just to kind of like a testament to that, Museba, Pat, you've been around probably since you've seen him when he first came in. Musteba and Muhammad are brothers, and they came consistently every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. and have just shown so much improvement, both of them, over the past few years. And it's funny because when they first came in, they told me, they were like, we're small-sided players. We were used to playing small-sided games. And at the time we were playing a lot of outdoor stuff. So, they were good, but then I saw them continue to just shine when we moved to smaller court as well. So no, that's awesome to hear. I'm glad for all of them.
So proud.
He's
Anything
also
else?
one of two. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
He's also one of 2 players to get a game-winning goal in our events. So from this last event where he had the game winner against Armada, so Annapolis.
3-4.
Yep. And then I forget who the other player is. It's one of the Armada players scored the game winner against Eastern Shore. And I remember that goal because once you get to it, that I don't want to spoil the ending, but there's an amazing ball played to that player that puts the goal right on a platter. And
wow,
having watched all the goals and how they're all set up, I think this one, like for the individual assist, was probably the best assist I've seen at the event. It was that good.
Can't wait to see it.
So Pat, I know that you've seen all the games. To me, the goals that have stood out so far are obviously Mike's second goal against us. Alex Stewart in the first game. It was kind of a team goal that was played all the way down. It sounds like this was a good pass that ended up being converted to a goal. Were there any other goals that kind of stood out to you of being like, this was like a really nice goal?
For nice goals, there was one that was well taken from Ryan Stewart. Alex, off a free kick, chips it to him at the back post, and Ryan does well to take it down with his chest and hit on the full volley. And although the result in that game, again, it was against Pittsburgh, win against them, what you start to realize, that was the goal that helped get their confidence back. Because I know we were talking about how at one of our training sessions that essentially, for lack of a better word, the set pieces can change games. It was a very good way to see like how the momentum of the game was so in Pittsburgh's favor. And then as soon as Ryan scored that really nice goal, it just shifted. You could see that Washington Fire started to get that little confidence, and they started to get their passes back together. Their shots were being more on target. And it's something I would like to look at again, because that was one thing I started to notice was like how just that one goal, even though that I think at that point it only put them to like within 3, it just gave them so much confidence to go and try to get something from that.
And you're absolutely right. You're not the only one that picked up on that. When I was in the game and they scored, I could feel it. I could feel it come back, and I was like, I need to step on this flame. I need to step on this fire and put this out. We need to step on this, and we did so. But it could have definitely changed if it ignited the way they wanted it to, for sure.
Speaking of that game, I think one of the potential best goal celebrations has to go to Coy for sliding on his knees on a hardwood court.
Brave man. Brave man.
Surprised you don't have like skinless knees right now still.
I'm not worried about that. I was more worried about getting my team as hype as possible to counteract their hype. So yeah,
no, I'm excited to go back and see that too.
But you're absolutely right, Pat. I felt that when I was mid-game, and that I believe that was off of was it a penalty or somewhere?
It was off a free kick. It was a 50-50 call, and I think everyone was just on your team just confused about what was going on.
And they
Fire just started quickly and just caught you guys off guard. So
and I felt that immediately. But I mean, it's a make it or break it moment where you decide, am I gonna fall back on the momentum, or am I gonna like pick myself up and come at you feet ablazing, you know? And the momentum we had and the energy we had on our side was relatively too much. So I'm glad it ended up the way it did. Sorry guys, but I mean, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, it's a good result. I think
good result.
So going back to you, Coy, like when you played against the Kings, because this is something we both have experienced, unlike Josh, we've both played against the Kings. And I want to know like what you felt during the game. Like I know for me, like one of the things every time I play in these events is that the difference between playing on the Kings and playing on the rest is like when I was playing on Eastern Shore Impact, anytime we played against the Kings, that was the one game that I would circle, or we would all circle and be like, this is the game that we have to go our hardest in, that we have to like give them the most challenge. And I feel like on the Kings side, it's like, it's not to say not every game's a challenge, but it's not to say that like the other games, people aren't pushing as much. But I feel like on the Kings, it feels like everyone's circled us. And suddenly everyone's like, this is the game I'm going to like, whether I know or not, I'm going to work my butt off just to try to get a result.
Okay. So for me, and for not being like so self-centered at the point, but I think I can speak for my team. For me, being the first round and the first session playing football with you guys for this big tournament type scenario, it was different. I knew that coming on the field with you guys was going to be hard. But like I said last week, talking to Josh, I knew that I got it in my head, and I listened a lot, where he said, if we're down, don't give up. Don't ever give up. Because I'd rather lose fighting than give up at the end. And so I knew from the beginning that it was going to be rough. I've seen you guys play, not you specifically, when I was at regionals with them. But I saw them play, and I just knew how amazing their chemistry was. And kind of throwing a team like Pittsburgh together and trying to see what they're like, see how compatible they are. And just going with that was kind of hard, and then seeing a team who's been playing together and playing consistently and has the chemistry and has the momentum, it was hard, but I'm really proud of what we did. For the main focus for me, I just wanted to keep that energy up because we were down by 5 goals, but it doesn't matter. It's a game, you know. Anything can happen at any point. Momentum can shift, and you just got to be ready. So I was more focused on trying to contain the shots, trying to get in position where we're not as split as much as we were, because we could have been slaughtered. It could have been more than 7 goals from you guys. You guys had multiple opportunities to score more than that, but I'm really proud of us, that this whole team that you guys threw together for us. We came together, and we didn't back off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to add to that, it was a 7-2 result against you guys, and 4 of our goals were off of set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And you take those 4 goals away, if you're defending, like knowing what's going on in terms of like, what play we're running, that are able to take those goals away somehow. It's a 3-2 game.
Right.
So, that's why in years past, something we've stressed is like, we need to convert on set pieces, because those could be the extra 2 goals a game that help us win a game. In this case, it was an extra 4 goals.
You're right.
So, it goes back and forth, and Pat, to add to what you're saying, like, playing against the Kings group, I want players to come and to have a day against us. I want to see people who come in and just like tear it up.
I mean, like Shane Martinez, like in that game, I think had one of his best games. I think there's 2 saves from the event that I keep in my mind. One of them is, I forget who has a header on him, but he gets caught going the other way and is able to get fingertips to push over the bar, which I think was amazing. And his game against us, I think if you go back and watch it, there are plenty of chances in that game that I think on other keepers, on other days, might go in, and Shane's able to get either a strong hand, a strong leg, or something onto it to push it wide. And as someone who wanted to score more, to maybe challenge Alex Stewart. But the other save that I have in the back of my mind is the one of our new keepers, Baylor McKenna. There was one where he's closing down, shots taken, it takes a deflection as he's going down, and he's able to reach his long arms and just like hit it away. And it was just one of those saves I was just like, that was a goal save. Because just, I think like, had I been in that situation, I don't think I'd get my arm up in that speed. So
no, and I recognize that one as well. And in playing against everyone, I always want to see everyone, and watching the film, watching them again, obviously live. But there's something about like when you take it a little seriously, where we're filming the games, when we promote the games, even though like this isn't the highest level in the world, it makes people give their best. I feel like, I don't know, like if you know what I'm talking about, but like it puts people on a little bit more of a, oh, like I want to be in that highlight, or oh, like I'm looking forward to seeing that over again. It's just something that I learn not only from watching myself make mistakes, but I like watching myself. Like, I know I'm weird. I like watching myself make mistakes. I look at that, I'm like, I can't believe I did that. I'm not gonna do it again. But I also like viewing things I did well, or like looking back at it, and like I might not even realize that I had an okay game. I hold myself to a high standard, as you guys do as well. And a game might go by and I'm like, man, like I didn't have any goals or any assists. But then go back and watch the film and be like, oh, like I was on the field for almost every single goal, and it was a pass that led to another pass and then a goal, or like I won a ball and then played it out, and then we were able to score off of it. So there's little things like that just from watching the film and looking back at it, I'm able to learn. And I hope that you guys and Pat, watching all that, like probably just like identifying things that you do or things that other players do that maybe I don't even pick up on. I watch all the games several times. I've watched each game up to where we've gone edited. Like I'll be posting the Baltimore Washington game tomorrow. I'll be posting the highlights of that tomorrow, and then going into the Annapolis. I think it was Annapolis Pittsburgh game. I think that's the second game you played.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'll be doing that one next. But and just watching it and going through it, I love being able to go back and see the level, even where we were at last year to now, and just seeing the players we're bringing in and their progression. And that's the point of this. And Pat, we talked about last week. I talked about with Coy, was that like, if we didn't have these types of events, maybe someone that gets left off a roster for the Kings team, we never end up seeing them again. They decide not to come back. And someone like Pat that spent 2 years playing for a different team then comes in and plays with us. And so it's just, that's the reason why we do all this. And I'd mentioned the Coy last time too, areas where I want to see him continue to improve on, and he's determined. I know Pat, you brought that same work ethic too, and just wanted to improve. And even, I mean, you guys are both a lot younger than me still. So,
Hey,
some
it's not
people,
about the years; it's about the mileage. Come on.
and we're all way behind Brian. Brian's a dinosaur compared to us. But no, all joking aside, I want to play as long as possible. And some people are like, all right, like I'll play up to like 20, 21, and then stop, and then go just, you know, focus on other things. And that's totally fine. But like, I feel like people like you guys, like you have it kind of in your blood, and it's hard to get it out. Which then kind of leads into the last thing I just want to discuss briefly is, all of us have other things other than soccer that we deal with on a regular basis. For me, I'm with my family, I'm working, I am doing things behind the scenes with the Kings. I'm working for my company, I'm working at AECS, and just trying to balance all of that, trying to find time to sleep, trying to spend proper time with the kids and wife, and identify areas where I'm lacking, and trying to notice there's some weeks where I'm like, wow, like I should have spent more time here, or should have spent more time doing this. I know you guys are just recently, Pat recently graduated and Coy recently passed his boards. So you guys, as like that, like both you guys, I commend both you guys. But moving on to this like kind of new chapter where like I know Pat, you're going to be continuing to study, right? And Coy, I feel like in your field too, you're a lifelong learner, always have to go through training or some new sort of certification or re-certification. So I mean, I just wanted to briefly kind of turn over you, each of you. I'll start with Coy, just seeing like maybe if you have any best practices of how you balance all of it, or you're still trying to figure it out, or just kind of seeing what it kind of looks like to be Coy right now.
Um, so I don't know how you're gonna take this, but I live my life off of a verse from the good old book. It's Matthew chapter 6, verse 34. It's basically like, therefore, um, it's like, you have struggles for today, so worry about today, and because tomorrow's struggles will eventually come, you know. So currently, right now, I just started Monday, this past Monday, and I've gone through orientation, nursing orientation. Yesterday and today were epic training, which is
This at a hospital?
yeah, this is at Dover. So
Yeah.
and I live in Salisbury, so it's about an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh,
But
okay.
God bless, like, I mean, I've just realized that when it comes down to it, it's like I said earlier, it's about what you want to give your time to. I mean, uh, I know Patrick, I know you have a drive that I love to see. David Brady has that drive as well, and there's a lot of people that do. Some people have it more than others, but I've been on a motivational podcast lately. It's by a guy named Eric Thomas. I've realized that it's really important who you surround yourself with and the energy you put out, because the energy you put out, uh, you expect to be reciprocated in some way. Either they're going to do something with it, or it's going to be returned. And so I see this team as energy I'm putting into, but I also receive. So it's an endless feedback. It's I get something, I give something, and that's how life is. Like Eric Thomas says, he's like, I've never turned my light on in my house where it hasn't cost me. He's getting like power, energy, but he has to pay. So with this experience at the current moment, I'm going through things that it seems really hard right now. It's a mountain for itself, but I have to worry about the little steps in between, because it's the little steps that lead you up the mountain, and you take a break and you look back down, you're halfway up, you know, but that's over a period of time. So it's one step after another. It's a journey for itself, but along the way, you have to look back and see how far you've come, because it's hard. Life is not easy, but with a lifelong learning like this, you have to embrace it for what it is. And with soccer, this is my whole route of paying for gas. Like I said last week, it's what I have to put in and what I get out of it is all determined by how much I work for it. Like if I'm going to be trying to schedule my days, I work 3 days a week, 3 12s. They're long shifts. And like I said, yesterday on Tuesday, I got done with my orientation, went back down to Salisbury, played a soccer game with the local Crown team for Men's League A, and we won. Had to assist that game, and then I kind of came right back and went to bed, got up, and went to Epic training, which is the whole computer system. But it's like what you want to give back is super important. What you set yourself to do, and you have to follow through with that. You can't compromise I wouldn't say integrity, but you can't compromise what you've chosen, because not only has this team got me out of a bad place when I failed my first boards, but has led me to family and friends and relationships that I would never ever give up. So it's truly about what you think you want to do and what you're willing to strive and achieve for. But life comes first, like Josh. Family comes first, life comes first, work comes first, because without work and all that, soccer wouldn't be able to function.
Yeah. This is not a full-time gig as of right now, and
as of right now.
dot. And then Pat, as well, like Coy, so many great points to touch on. I'm glad that you felt the community, and that's something that we always try to build. Is I mentioned last week too, like the Kings Pro Soccer Alliance, all this is like living and breathing. It's more than just me, or more than just Pat, or more than just Coy or Gavin or anybody. It's cool that like guys talk to each other outside of training and play in other men's leagues together, or get together and hang out. Like I can't do that. Like I'll see you for training for 2 hours and then peace. I probably won't see you or talk to you in a long time or for the rest of the week. But it's not because I don't like you. It's just because I'm about to go spend time with my family, or go do work or other things. So Pat as well, like now you're pursuing another degree here, and some more that's going to be on your plate. How do you like balance that with school and everything else? You're working and doing gymnastics, and I know for a while, even in the winter, I know you had so much going on. I was like, Pat, like you need to take a break of something. Like you have so much going on. I know it's difficult. Some people just like they need things going on in their life, and that's kind of me. But how do you find ways to balance all of it?
I mean, like Coy was saying, where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's just like it does require a lot of planning. It also requires me to be on my toes as well. I mean, there are certain times where things will shift and I have to shift with them. I mean, like with injuries and other things, I think that's the one nice thing, or that's one of the things I've had to learn this year that I've started to appreciate more. And maybe it's because my body's getting broken down more from doing both. When we did MASL, doing futsal, I was doing a little bit of outdoor soccer, working and doing gymnastics. I could feel my body breaking down. And what I really started to appreciate more was not just the preparation, because I always appreciate that, but was more the recovery.
Yeah.
I think recovery I've learned a lot more about, and not just through school, but also through like experiences. So for instance, like Mondays, we normally train Monday and Thursdays during the winter. for gymnastics, I'd be training every day. So like Monday through Friday, I was training. So Monday, I would have 2 hours of gymnastics or acrobatics, and then I have to sprint up to our training session. And
Right.
sometimes it's stressful, but I'd rather have that stress in my life than not be able to do like play with you guys. That's the other thing. It's like I think with the Kings, we've created such a great environment that it's like Coy was saying, it's friendly, but it's also competitive and it feels fulfilling. And that makes you want to go harder, do more with it. I mean, for me, like it's nice to be able to have a foot still in soccer. I know for me personally, I ended up not playing college soccer and I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do with soccer next. And the Kings opportunity came up and I've loved every step of the way. That for me, it's like, it's my way of still staying in the soccer world and being an active role in it. And I've learned to love futsal more. I've learned more because I love learning about soccer, as you guys probably know. So,
Yeah.
but the biggest thing I probably have learned is just trying to stay calm under the stress
Right.
and just I don't want to say have faith, but also like have knowledge of like you've been through rough times before. This is just another patch.
Right.
You just gotta keep rolling with it. It's I don't have as good of a quote as you, Coy, but the quote that I always think of is like, the Rocky movie franchises. It ain't about how hard you get hit. It's about
It's
how
how
hard you
get
can
hit
get
and
hit
get
and
back
get
up.
back up.
Absolutely. Love
That
that quote.
I don't know why it's in me because I've actually never seen that movie in its entirety. Never seen it. But that's the one quote that I always think of as like kind of a thing to keep going. But yeah, I mean, like it's been it's challenging, but it's a positive challenge that gives me like not worth, but like fulfillment.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that obviously I went a different route than even both of you. And what I realized, what I was chasing, and my desire of like wanting to play at the highest level possible, obviously. But once I finally started playing at the quote unquote highest level, I still wasn't fulfilled. I still realized that, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, like waking up every single morning and being your job, like it's a cool feeling. But no matter what job you have, no matter what you do in life, you're gonna have days where you wake up and you're like, I don't want to go to work today, no matter how much you love it. Even if your job is as a professional soccer player, you wake up every single day and go to training every day. You might not want to go to training. But
Yeah.
even from all of that, I tried to pick out things that I enjoyed throughout my journey from college to after college, playing after college, and things I noticed, things that teams did and what they didn't do. And one of the biggest things I realized was I remember coming to this realization. I was like, man, like I'm barely surviving right now off of the money that I'm making. Um, things are, like even when I was getting paid okay to play soccer, it wasn't like like if I were to like all of a sudden be out of a job, I wouldn't be set, It was like, oh, now it's time to find a new job. So I knew like the way I thought of it was like, I always need something to like do outside of soccer so that way I don't end up resenting it one day. Because for me, like I didn't want I know a lot of people that don't like people that played soccer their entire lives and they got burnt out. Some of the greatest players I know, and they just stopped playing because they did it too much, or just like, you know, had a couple coaches they didn't like, or just like were hurt by the game. The game can hurt you. The game will hurt you, and like it's a cruel road to playing soccer at the next level. But I remember just thinking, I was like, man, it's like I feel like all this is out of my control. I feel like, you know, at the team's mercy, like who will sign me, and all the politics behind it, and trying to be on the right side of it. Some of the teams I played for, like I wasn't as good as the players that got cut, but like it was just based off of certain, intangible things, or even just preferences between coaches. So I remember just looking at it all and just being like, I need to find the right balance. I need to find a balance of like where soccer and now even futsal, or I have that in my life, and I'm able to spend time with family, and I'm able to have a job that I'm able to sustain and take care of my family. Don't get me wrong, professional soccer in the United States has come a long way and the salaries have increased. But, when I first came out of college in 2011, 2012, there weren't a lot of teams around, and they weren't paying a lot of money, the ones that were, and some teams weren't paying at all. And then it was just, so, trying to find that balance where, like, one, you're able to work and have a family life, and two, you're able to also play at a decent level and get that fulfillment and get that worth from it, and like that itch. And some people need more, and that's fine, they go somewhere else. And I always want this to be a home to players. If someone goes away and goes to another team, like no one's ever not welcome to be around what we're doing, unless they're like purposely destructive, which we've had our case of those in the past too. But that's beside the point. But anyone that like that wants to be a part of this, I don't care. I don't care if you played high school soccer. I don't care if you played college soccer. Andrew didn't even play high school soccer, right? I don't care if you played college. I don't care if you, like, I might choose you over a D1 starter just based off of your commitment, your effort, and if you're a reasonable ability level compared to them, I'm probably going to still select you. If you're an A player with a B attitude, I'd rather take a B- player with an A+ attitude. So we want to continue to bring in guys that I appreciate. You, Pat, for bringing in someone like Baylor, and Gavin and I were just talking about him recently, and just seeing like, he makes a commitment. He makes a drive from Richmond on Monday nights now that he's back away, and Richmond, Virginia, traveling up, and he's someone too that's just like, I thought he had a great event last time around, and I think in training he's just picking up things and improving, and great shot stopper. So I want to continue to open the door to the players that we run into along the way that we feel like could be, I guess, bring the level up overall. We've opened it up a bit, and we want to continue to grow this. So, both of you guys have your own stories where you're at now, and everyone in the club is different. That's why I think it's healthy to kind of cool to talk about all this with players, and bringing in, players each week, sometimes repeated, and bring you guys in too, and just discuss all this. Because as I said, most of the time after practice, I'm out. I don't get to have conversations. It's not because I don't like you. It's just because I need to get home or get somewhere else. And sometimes there is that, like when there isn't proper communication, there can be unmet expectations which lead to disappointment. So I want to be able to be more responsive and talking about these conversations. So both of you guys, I appreciate your time and your commitment to everything, and
Absolutely.
looking forward to
Patrick, I just want to say I'm super proud of you, man. It takes a lot to get through this as well. I may be a little bit older than you, and a little bit more, I wouldn't say wiser, but more experienced.
Hey, you can say wiser. It's okay.
More experience with life, but sometimes you may have to in life give up what you really truly love sometimes, because it'll eventually come back. I'm not saying giving up permanently, but sometimes you have to pick something else for it to really truly work. Like right
He's
now,
basically
I'm
saying is you should probably give up soccer and futsal.
I was about to say,
Yep.
he's telling me to give it up so that way he can take my spot.
Everyone
how
has
it
that
is.
time where they got to give up something they love. So
Yep, I still have your I still have your ID in my truck, by the way. But no, I just really I love this. Hey buddy, I just really I really love the fact that you guys have been along with me from the beginning of my journey till right now. Because yes, I did start Monday, but I also got the call from you guys when I was in the middle of right before I took my boards. Like I got the call to go with you guys to New Jersey and experience football, and I did, and I passed, and here we are, and it's just one journey after another. People have their own journeys, and it's just amazing, like the stories people bring, because you never know where somebody's from, you never would know what they have to go through, but we all come together and we play soccer, which is truly utterly amazing. And I just want to keep continuing to bring great people, great energy, and great motivation to this team, because I believe this team can very much go places. So Patrick, I'm so proud of you for keeping your head in, because this is rough. Life does not get easier, but you get better at managing it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is coming from a guy who is a doctor, like a nurse now. Like, I think all credit should go to this guy. The work hours, but also just the process of trying to become a nurse. Like, because I have a couple of friends who are in that field, and I know it is hard. I mean, not a job. I don't think I could do that. Also, biology, not my strong suit. Will fully admit that. I paid attention in high school. I don't think I retained any of it.
That's fine.
No, but it's all right, because we like as a team and as a like any workspace or any area, you have your niche. You have that area where you fit in. You have that area where you do best in. And for me, it's science and math. And I love bringing energy to people. Like as a nurse, I get to affect people's lives. No different than this team. I get to be around you guys. I get to bring that energy to you guys. Maybe somebody's having a terrible day, and I don't know, maybe I'm able to affect them in a positive outlook in the hospital, and maybe on the field too. Like some people may look at me and be like, oh, Koi's here. Or maybe some people may look at me and like, oh yeah, let's go, Koi's here. You can't, here's a quote: you can't be the main character in everybody's book. So all you can do is be you, bring that energy that I know you have, and I know I have, and I'm starting to see it from more and more people. But you just got to be you and bring that every single day. Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the energy.
Well, both you guys, Koi, Pat, both you guys bring a certain energy to the community that we want to share, and that's why we're doing an event like we're doing this Saturday at ASA Day, so we can share that energy with kids. And I usually get pretty hyped up for those events too. I deal with kids on a daily basis as being a teacher and being in a school. And then we did field day the other day for elementary school kids, and I ran the soccer station. And just being around those elementary school kids, you need to show high energy, nonstop. You get done after 3 hours and you're like, I need to go sleep for 12. So, I appreciate both you guys and your efforts and everything you've done so far, and we'll continue to do. So we'll continue to have these conversations and open this up. But both of you guys, hope you guys have a good night. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Josh, Patrick, have a great night. Kings out.
Thanks, guys.